Alright guys, I got the table done and I've got it in front of the truck. I've got to do the EGR valve. I had a check engine light come on and it was code P1335 or something like that. It's a EGR valve is not seating properly under low voltage, I believe. So for this video I'm going to remove the EGR valve and clean it. I already know there's a number of them on YouTube. Not going to do anything significantly different, but I thought I'd document it anyways and post it on YouTube. I will go ahead and show you guys the tools that you're going to need. Alright guys, so tools you're going to need is I'm going to try this impact gun, the little one, and see if it'll work. If not, I got a larger one. I'm going to use a magnetic 8mm nut driver. That way I don't have to worry about the bolts falling down in the engine. I'm using a, what is this? Irwin extension that keeps this from pulling out. I've got a crow's foot here, and then I've got 2 pry bars, Harbor Freight style. I haven't done this before, so I'm not sure if this is too long and won't fit down in there. We're going to find out. So I believe these are all the tools you need. There's also an O-ring kit. The O-ring kit is from the Ford dealer. It is a 3C3Z-9P455-AB. I believe that's a 5. And it comes with the 2 gaskets, the 2 orange gaskets, and then the top gasket that goes around the very top of the EGR valve. So if you're going to clean it, you'll need to get that from the Ford dealer. I can't remember how much it was, 10 to 15 bucks, something like that. So we'll get started here. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. So first thing we're going to do is pop this up out of the EGR valve. Be careful not to break off the clip. It should just move out of the road. Supposedly these are number 8 bolts. And it looks like they are. And one thing I forgot to mention, I like to use, sorry guys, I like to use the magnetic tray. Obviously this is a Harbor Freight one. Just I don't have to worry about my nuts and bolts falling down anywhere. So I personally would recommend that to anyone that's doing this job. That way you don't got to worry about stuff going down in the engine. And we'll get to the second one here. And if I had to guess, this has been replaced because it doesn't have the cast ears. So it may come out really easy, we'll see. I don't know if you guys got tilted or not there. Just trying to be real careful. Okay, that worked. I just used 2. I wasn't prying from one side only. And super ass dirty. So I'll set this down so you guys can see it. Is that gonna stay? So what we have is I believe this is the exhaust side and that's the intake side, and you can see the exhaust side on mine is completely plugged. Let me me get this repositioned here. And gonna need a whole bunch of cleaning, and I also got to examine it, make sure there's no water or it doesn't look funny. It's pretty powdery, but I'm gonna say it hasn't been cleaned, so we'll check that out. Alright guys, I thought I'd narrate this for a little bit. So what I've got going on is I'm soaking it in acetone. Don't know if that's right or wrong. I've always found that acetone has a stronger action than lacquer thinner. I call it hotter, but it just seems to have more cutting power. One of the things that I'm doing is I am soaking it, and the thing about this one that's different than a lot of them online, my truck's not smoking at all. My truck's not running bad. Literally just the code came on. I didn't show you guys when I first pulled this out. The exhaust side was completely plugged. The intake side was not bad. The soot was oily. Now, I read a whole bunch of stuff online about it being watery, and that being part of the being the EGR cooler. No, the oil to water cooler, something like that. I can't remember which one it is. It's the one that has all the tiny holes in it from Ford. Failing, right? And so normally if it's wet inside, you've got a failure with your cooler. In this case, it's oily. I checked it out. It's greasy soot. Now I do the thing with my diesel what you're not supposed to do. I idle it a lot, and I do a lot of short runs. And so I think one of the problems is I'm getting crankcase. I read about the closed crankcase ventilation, and I believe that that's what's causing a lot of the oil in my intake manifold, because the intake manifold looks terrible from what I can see. And so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to clean it just yet, but I am probably going to have to do the vented manifold procedure. I think I'm going to vent it to some sort of catch bottle and then a check valve. I got to see what's available online, but I've got really greasy soot in the EGR system. So I'm going to clean it. I'm going to get as much out as I can, vacuum out as much as I can, see if it makes the code go away, and then work on the truck from there. So for this particular instance, I'm going to get this thing as clean as possible. This is where we're at right now with it. It's cleaned out, but there's still a lot of crap in there that I've got to get detached, and I got to go get a little wire brush. I don't have one at the moment, so I'm using a small screwdriver and kind of scraping, but I actually want to make sure I get this all cleaned out. So I'm going to hopefully get a little scrubby brush that I can get in there, and a little something that's got bristles, and get all the rest of this crap out so that it's spick and span. One thing you'll notice, if you haven't already, I duct taped up the holes so I can't get any spray in there, and I've also been careful to try and not tip it over as much as possible. So I'm going to continue to let this soak, and I'm going to go figure out a way to scrub the insides out, and we'll continue on with this in a little bit. Alright guys, one of the things that, I clean and clean and clean, and it's pretty clean, but it's not the kind of clean I want it to be. So I taped off the whole face here, and I bought some, I got this from the local Grange, this little scrubby brush, and that worked pretty awesome. But I'm going to try to soda blast it. I have a sandblaster. I emptied all the sand out. We have this crazy rainstorm going right now, so I can't even work on the truck, but I'm going to soda blast it and see what soda does compared to sand, or if it even works. It's pretty fine. So I'm going to do a little experiment and throw some baking soda inside of the sandblaster and see what happens. Let you guys know momentarily. Alright guys, so I just got done cleaning it with the soda blasting. and it worked frickin' awesome. I made sure and taped this all up real well. This entire face was taped clear around the edge because there's like a little there's like threads or something here. I soda blasted it and it got absolutely every tiny little bit of gunk off there. I opened the valve up and then soda blasted the sealing surfaces. It basically looks brand spanking new. There's no grime on it anywhere. It's completely, totally spotless. So I'm over the moon with the soda blasting. I'm hoping that somehow it didn't contaminate the inside of this. Only time will tell as far as reinstalling it. But I mean, it as far as visual appearance goes, it's literally a brand new part. So I'm way stoked, totally stoked on soda blasting. Hadn't tried it before, for real delicate parts where you don't want to remove the finish. I can't believe it. It's so awesome. I did read that it will remove paint, but not anodization. So I don't know how careful you have to be. I'm going to, down the road, I'm sure I'll get to try it on some other parts. Might work really awesome on plastic, I'm excited to kind of try it on some other stuff, but just worked totally fantastic. Way better than I thought it would work. So now I got to just find a way to purchase, large amounts of it, like maybe on Amazon or something. Anyways, this thing is super spotless. It was raining like crazy here. Not going to work on it anymore today. Hopefully we'll get some decent weather tomorrow so I can clean up the intake manifold and get this thing put back together. Talk to you guys later. Guys, I don't know how well you can see this because it's a cloudy day. I could probably get a flashlight maybe. Come on. This intake manifold is clogged pretty bad, and I haven't read to my satisfaction a way to clean it. I don't know what the hell that used to say. So I'm going to just use the old screwdriver technique and then vacuum it out when I'm all done. Now it's been sitting for a while, so I'm also going to check to see if there's water down in there, which I'll need a flashlight for. So I'll have to go get that here in a minute. But this thing is, I would call it severely clogged. Pretty bad. And what I made was for the I'll get that and show you guys. For the shop vac, this is inch and a quarter PVC wrapped with electrician's tape, duct tape, and then I've got a this is like that stuff they use for sprinkler line. I've got it adapted down to a barb and a hose. I should be able to reach down there and vacuum all that crap out. So I'm gonna go get a flashlight here and I'll be right back. Alright guys, just a quick update. So I have oil around here, and if I look, it looks like maybe I've got some blow-by coming out of this tube that goes from the intercooler to the intake. I don't know why I would have blow-by there. Maybe it's something that happened in the past. I haven't been in this engine before. This is my first time fooling around with it. Somebody's obviously had, because they've got zip ties on the lines, have had this fuel pressure, or where the fuel, whatever this is, I don't know exactly what it is. I'd have to look it up, but they've had the lines off because they got zip ties on them. So, and then someone, didn't put it back together right. It's got some busted shit in the fan shroud here. I noticed a lot of the wiring harness didn't get put back together right. It's just a half-assed job by somebody who's slamming it back together. So, oh, sorry about that, guys. Pushed on a tube. You guys are gonna love that in the video. So I kind of wiped it down because I'm hoping that any fresh leaking, I'll be able to see where it's coming from, trace it down, find out why it's doing it. The intake manifold is just caked. Whoops. And I got a number of things to do to this. I idle it a lot, so I'm going to do the high idle mod. I'm also going to vent the crankcase somehow into some kind of catch bottle. I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet. I got to do a little more research on these mods because I don't know a lot about this engine just yet. So anyways, all I did was I sprayed carb cleaner down in there, sprayed it on the rag, wiped off the O-ring sealing surfaces, made sure the top is clean as you can see in the video. And I'm going to throw the EGR valve back in here, and we'll see if it makes it happy. Alright guys, just like all the other videos, I put a little engine oil on the O-rings. I've got a magnetic holder here to get these bolts started, so that should be fairly straightforward. And one more. And then, like they said in the video, we'll sneak it down. There we go. Alright, EGR's in. I'm going to plug this back in. And then I think someone said to pull a fuse to reset the computer, so I got to go look that up real quick. Number 10 fuse, the cover goes like this. And number 10 fuse is this one here, which corresponds to this 10 amp fuse right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. Autofocus is working and all that good crap. So it says to pull this fuse for 20 seconds to clear the code. So, get my hand out of the road. So we'll do that real quick. Make sure it's not blown while I'm at it. I plan on fully cleaning that area when in fact, I've got a lot of other ideas too, but for sure when I pull the top of the engine off, I'm going to clean it. Yeah, so anyways, pull this and see if the check engine light goes out. Hopefully that was 20 seconds. So we'll bring you guys inside the truck here. We'll stop this for a sec. Alright, so before... No, focus down there. Focus. So, before the check engine light would come on, see if it goes out. Turn my heater off. Check engine light is officially out. Little tiny puff of blue smoke on startup. So far life is good. Seems to be fine. So we'll call that successful cleaning of the EGR valve. We'll see how long it lasts. Like I said, I'm going to do the idle modification, and I'm also going to vent the crank or the block. I'm going to vent it open to atmosphere with some sort of check valve. I don't like the idea of running it into the exhaust, and from everything I've read, where they have it ran now is part of the reason my intake is so clogged up. So I'm also going to run two-stroke oil in the fuel and see if that helps as far as smoother running. So just kind of getting used to this thing. I hope this helps someone. Talk to you guys later.